Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Countdown of 2022, where I count down my top 10 figures of 2022. Alright, so kicking off our list, we have the Unmatched Series 3 John Silver. Now, I feel like this is one of the most underrated AEW figures there ever has been, and it's a real sleeper pick in the top 10, but it is a great figure. Looks like John Silver. The purple and black looks amazing. The silver logo looks great. There's even sculpted detail around the belt area. The Dark Order logo on there. And the only reason it's not higher is just because it's really stiff to move around, especially the legs. Like, you actually have to put in some work to bend the legs, and it's kind of just falls flat on its face when it comes to the stiffness of the figure. But, like, you can hear the arms just doesn't seem great. But other than that, it's a great figure. Just needs to be not really loose, but just loosened a little bit, because it is really difficult to pose around this John Silver action figure. So coming in at my number 9, we have the AEW World Champion from Unmatched Series 4, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This figure just looks very, very highly detailed. From the head being the greatest MJF head we've ever seen, to the amazing purple and white and gold details on the trunks, to the MJF logo on the white elbow pad, to the tape underneath the knee pads. This is just an all-around great figure. The only reason why it's not higher is because, just like Johnny, it's a little stiff. Not as bad as Johnny, but it's still pretty stiff. You can hear the elbow joints. Not as bad as Johnny, because that Johnny with the stiffness is just not great. But the MJF, it's a little stiff, but other than that, it's a really, really good figure. And coming in at our number 8 spot, we have the AEW Unrivaled Series 10 Wardlow. This figure looks just like Wardlow, from that amazing head scan down to the just height of the figure and size of the figure. It is literally as if they took Wardlow and made him into an action figure. I mean, I guess they did that, but it just looks perfect with the camo, purple and white all across the singlet, to the gorilla logo. Wardlow on the back. It just looks great. Pinnacle logo on the knee pads, if it'll focus. There we go. And it's on the boots as well. It just looks absolutely amazing, and the only reason why it's not higher is just because it cannot bend his torso area without it just snapping. There. Put some rubber bands in there so it stays nice and tight so it doesn't get loose, but it just snaps in half, and that's the only disappointing part about this Wardlow. Everything else is just absolutely fantastic. Coming in at our number 7 spot, we have Elite 93, Seth freaking Rollins. This figure looks absolutely amazing from neck to toe. Yes, neck, because I absolutely hate this head scan. I hate it with a burning passion, because this is just absolutely vile to look at. It is not very just aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and honestly, this head scan is the only reason why this figure is not higher, because neck to toe, it is a very just perfect figure. You got the Seth Rollins like president type picture. We have the design going down the thigh right there, design on the knee pad. Highly detailed boots, especially this one right here. Looks absolutely amazing. The one gloved hand, the rubber jacket that actually moves, which is crazy. It's just this head is absolutely just killing the figure. And it seems like it's 2 times in a row now that the head kills the figure, with the Elite 99 having the same problem, using a 50-something series old head scan. At least this one's new, but it's just not great. And that's why it's at my number 7. Coming in at number 7, we have the AEW Unmatched Series 3, Mr. Brody Lee. Rest in peace. He was great on TV, and his figure may even be greater. This figure is absolutely amazing. Brody Lee down the side, has all the numbers on the other leg, the detail going from the crotch to the, upper mid torso area, the hairs around here at his neck area. The head scan is just beautiful, coming with the red strap TNT title. This figure is just absolutely amazing, especially for a bigger figure. Because most of the time with wrestling figures, whenever they're bigger people, like the Undertaker, Kane, people like that, they usually have a lot of problems, and this one only has one problem, and it's kind of the same as Wardlow, except it's not as bad as Wardlow. He can still bend a little bit, but it's not great, and that's why he comes in at number 6 instead of higher ups like 4 or 3 or anything like that. It's just he can't bend his torso as well as others. I mean, it's better than the Wardlow, like I was saying, but yeah, it's not a lot. It's like an Ultimate Edition being able to bend. It's not a lot. But other than that, this is a just gorgeous figure, and I'm glad that I could throw this into my top 10. All right, we're halfway there. Coming in at number 5, we have the Legends Series 16, Rey Mysterio. This figure is almost perfect head to toe. There's not many problems I could see with this. I mean, my biggest problem with it is about these gauntlets being really, really loose on the figure. That's my only problem with this figure. Other than that, it's just Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio figures are just glorious, especially with this cloth goods jacket with the Rey Mysterio logo on the back, ECW on the back of his head, and the absolutely stunning tattoo work all over the body, especially this back tattoo looks amazing. They even have a cross on the neck. EG for Eddie Guerrero on his armband, tattoos on his arms, Mexican on his stomach region, more tattoos on his other arm. This figure is just absolutely gorgeous, feels great in the hand, and that's why it comes in at number 5. It just couldn't edge out the other ones in this top 10, so yep, let's move on. So up next at number 4, we have the ringside exclusive coffin drop Darby Allen. This figure's posability is great. Details are great. He came with a rubber jacket that he can't move, so that's why it's pretty low. It's just the stupid rubber jacket that nobody likes, where the posability is just garbage. He's in that one pose the entire time, It's just not good. But the skateboard, you can move him around, and if you do it slow enough, you'll actually stay on and just skate around. And if you were I don't know, whatever, you could use it as a little tech deck or whatever. And it came with this absolutely amazing cloth body bag that you can actually open up and fit wrestling figures in. Like, I just threw my referee in there as an example, but you can actually fit wrestling figures inside of the body bag. It's just absolutely amazing. Cloth goods body bag. Awesome skateboard. Amazing articulation on this figure. Just so much detail with the tattoos and the face paint and the body paint, and even having the half tattoo right there, and instead of just skipping out on it, they put it on there. But the attire, like the lower half, is really bland since it's just all black, and the rubber jacket really just kills this figure for me. But other than that, it is a great Darby Allen figure. So coming in at my number 3 spot, we have the ringside exclusive Dead Man Inc. Undertaker with the ability to pull the straps down. BSK Pride on there. Looks absolutely amazing. The legs are buttery smooth. The torso is great. It's not loose, but it's not too tight either. The accessories, like the sunglasses. The only thing I'm not really too big of a fan of is this beanie thing right here. You put it on like so, and then like it just falls straight off. But everything else is just absolutely amazing. Gets multiple hands, straps, like I said, get pulled down. It's like a rubbery material, but it's not like the rubber jackets or anything, so it's really easy to just stretch. It's like stretch over it, and it's just really, really nice. The head scan looks really good. The tattoo work all over the torso, BSK, all over the arms as well. Massive elbow pad I'm not too fond of, but it is accurate, so I'm not really going to complain. It's on ball joints, so it's really smooth and nice. And it's just an absolutely amazing figure, but I just have 2 more figures that are just so much better than it. All right, coming in at my number 2 spot, we have the Elite Series 92 Chase Adam Cole, baby. This figure, I have been waiting on a War Games attire Adam Cole for like years, man. Ever since they came out with that Roderick Strong, and then we got the Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish in the same attire. I knew there was no way that Adam Cole could just leave WWE without giving us this War Games attire in figure form. It is absolutely just astonishing and really exciting for me to get this in hand. And the only reason why it's not number 1 is because I wasn't a fan of the long sleeves. Well, not really long sleeves, but sleeves in general. Because he never really wore sleeves. He had like sleeveless, and so I just cut it, kind of butchered it, but it works. And the little tiny little legs for Adam Cole, because he's small, but he's not this small. He's not a literal baby. He's a grown man, so he should have grown man legs, you know? But other than that, the tattoo work is amazing. Best Adam Cole head scan there's ever been. It's just absolutely amazing. Cloth goods, even though the sleeves are on there, it's still cloth, so I wasn't really complaining too awful much. The back, it says Baby. This is just absolutely amazing. Undisputed Era logo. Almost a perfect figure. But before we get to our number 1 spot, we have to give some honorable mentions. Here is the Ultimate Edition 14 Jeff Hardy and the Ultimate Edition 13 Hulk Hogan. These figures are just so like head and shoulders above the rest, and I didn't want to throw them in the top 10 because they would just be at number 1 and number 2. But I could not go without mentioning these figures. They are absolutely amazing from head to toe, especially this Hulk Hogan. Looks exactly like the Hulkster right there with the WrestleMania 1 gear, the classic, I think 84 or 85 Hogan title. Just one or the other. I don't know for sure. But it's just absolutely amazing, and I just could not let these figures go unnoticed. Now, up next, we have the AEW Unrivaled Series 10 Miro. This is probably the best Miro they've ever released, like Mattel or Jazzwares, because it actually looks like Miro. It actually looks like him, which is crazy. And the only reason why it's not in the top 10 is because the articulation is not the greatest. The TNT title gear is great, though. It's just the articulation holding it back. Up next, we have the AEW Unrivaled Series 9 Powerhouse Hobbs. Looks absolutely amazing. FTW down the back. Powerhouse Hobbs everywhere. And the only reason why it's just the articulation also isn't great. But mainly it's just he looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I just could not in my right mind let this go into the top 10. It's just disgraceful. Now, up next, we have the Legend Series 15 Kane. I noticed that people are putting this in their top 10s, but his leg is like really, really stiff because of the ratchet joint. It's even more stiff than the John Silver. So from the crotch up, it is a perfect figure, and it would probably be in my top 10, but the legs are just awful. It's just really, really bad, those legs. And finally, for our honorable mentions, we have the Greatest Hits Undertaker figure. It's really the same thing with the Undertaker as it was the Kane. The legs are not great, but the crotch up is just perfect. The legs are what's holding it back. So now, let's get into our number 1 spot. And finally, coming in at my number 1 spot, we have the AEW Unrivaled Walmart exclusive CM Punk in the trunks. This figure is far from perfect, but I have been waiting 7 long years for a CM Punk figure again, and Jazzwares was the one who produced it. This figure is absolutely awesome. The tattoo work on this figure is beautiful. They at least attempted to make the Pepsi logo on the shoulder, and this logo I'm not too familiar with on the other shoulder. I'm pretty sure that is also like trademarked. The only thing that I did not like is how with the head scan, like the beard is like kind of off right there, as you can see, and the tattoo work goes down onto the wrist, like the wristbands. The beard is just like one figure thing. It's not with all of them, but the tattoo on the wrist is, and it's just kind of, it's not really a killer to the figure, but it's not too great either. But like, just the excitement for this figure, the amount of time I've waited for another CM Punk wrestling action figure, tattoos on the back of the ears, on the back of the shoulders. I've just been waiting so long for a beautiful figure like this, and finally Jazzwares produced it. Thank you everybody for watching. Let me know your top 10 figures of the year in the comments section down below. And while you're at it, if you're new, make sure to hit subscribe. Peace!